What's happening, everybody?
Good one.
Chris Nordine, Jacob Nordine, Michelle Plusinski somewhere in the house taking care of business. We got Dennis Plusinski on the camera again, the single bachelor. Looking for anyone who wants to come have a nice experience. He's your man. But it's the experimental show today, guys, and it's going to be cool. We are working on some blow molds.
Real new, something fresh, something fancy.
Fresh and fancy.
Originally, I don't even know. I didn't ask what the winning words were because people voted on them, but they voted for not.
I like that.
That's a crazy word. Because we're going to be testing out our brand new blow molds that we got here. And the reason behind these molds, let's take a good look at them in the sunlight here. My mic's not on. Well, folks.
Better start all over.
Start over?
Just tell them what you need to tell them about it. It's cool.
All right, folks. I said it all really good, but I'll say it a second time, and I'll probably learn something. It's just like blowing glass. You fail, you drop one on the floor. You do better on the second time around. So here we are at the table. We're talking about blow molds, and I hope all my hand gestures worked really good for you on the first time around. Oh my God, that one worked too good. So these blow molds are for making cups in an efficient and symmetrical manner. This is for someone to come over top with the pipe, blow into it, have the cup completely finished on the end of the pipe, and then either punt it up and just open it up and be done, or we'll explain on our VIP show to our VIP members what it means to hot pop the tops. That's what we're going to do with these. We got the molds specifically made so that they'll be a little bit taller. We'll cool them down, and we're going to pop and polish the tops of them, and it's going to be a really cool process.
Yeah, the thing that's really important to understand about what a blow mold does, guys, is a blow mold is evolved for high production quantities of the same size glass.
Exactly.
The next step from this would be to make it out of graphite, and then the next step from that would be to have a robot blowing it, which is what like Libby Glass does. Like when you go into your local bar and you buy a pint glass, there's a robot that blows that, and they blow, I think, somewhere around those regular pint glasses. They do about 150,000 of those a day. So it's pretty hardcore when they can make 150,000 beer glasses. That's why they can sell those glasses for
$1.
No, I think they sell those for, I think they're 16 cents a piece or something like that, which is ridiculous that a beer glass in a bar could be sold for 16 cents, but that's okay. It's mass production. That's what America's all about, and it's cool, but it's not what we're all about here. We're never going to bring robots in here because we're scared of them. We want to make glasses that we can sell when we have our really cool beverage counter here and we're serving up beers. We want to have glasses that are affordable for people to take home and drink out of when they're here having a drink.
Yes.
You know, and highlighting the fact that all of our mugs, snifters, tulips, rocks glasses, bourbon glasses that we already make are all free-blown glass. They're all done by hand with no blow molds. They're all one of a kind. And we've actually evolved to being able to make sets of 8 of them, 6 of them, 4 of them by hand with no mold. But when somebody tells me, like lighting fixtures, when someone tells me they're going to want to buy 200 glasses from us, now we're like, hey, you know, maybe we should get a mold because we're going to be busting these things out. We want to be able to do them all exactly the same. And that's how and why Jake, and especially Jake being more involved in the business, he's younger, he's a little more modern with the times. He's pushing the drinking vessels out to people. He said he was the instigator. We need to get some blow molds. You know, it's like we're never going to make one-of-a-kind mugs using a blow mold. We'd never want to do that, and we're never going to stop doing that. But you'll be able to get these for a little bit of a better price because we are using a blow mold. So that's what it's all about.
People coming into town, sitting at the bar, using our glasses, having an affordable price range to buy a set of 4 on their first visit into the glass shop. That's the idea, and it's going to get all of our apprentices and our new glass blowers super in tune with their finessing of the glasses and getting them in the mold and blowing with the correct amount of pressure. It's going to bring them along the journey of becoming a great glass blower a lot quicker, too. So it's a win-win everywhere for customers, for us, for the business, and something new for us too. And that's why we're doing it on the experimental show right now. We're going to break these molds in, at least one of them, and show you what it looks like to start to understand the mold.
Yeah, the other cool thing I just remembered is that it's recording.
Yeah.
So she's crapping out that when your mic wasn't working.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
A little crappage.
So we could talk a little bit about the mold right now. They're made out of fruit wood. I can't 100% guarantee that this is cherry wood, but it's definitely a fruit wood. And pear wood, apricot wood, cherry wood, any of the fruit woods got a very dense grain, and it doesn't burn
Smells
as
like
quickly.
the sauna.
Yeah, so I don't think it's cedar though, because no fruit cedar. But you can see it's a fresh mold. It's been cut on a lathe, and it's made fresh, brand new. There's no carbon. It hasn't been burned out. So what our objective today is to blow mold this without going in and blowing as hard as we can. We want to gather up our gather, drop it in. Doesn't matter if it becomes a finished piece or not. We're only going to be doing it to break in the mold, to get a nice carbon surface on the inside. And anything on the inside of a blow mold that's perfectly round, you can spin it when you go into it. So you're always making sure you're blowing really lightly and spinning it, because if you go in and you blow really hard on a fresh mold, it'll stick in the mold. Then it blows it out, burns it asymmetrically. So the trick to burning, and I'm actually teaching Jake while I'm talking about this, the trick to burning a mold is very lightly spinning and blowing lightly and just letting that glass rub on the inside. That way it'll burn all the highest points first. Then the second time we go in, you blow in a little bit harder and you're burning it in, and pretty soon we'll have a perfect interior.
Yeah.
So burning out a blow mold is the same as burning out a footing tool, same as burning out a wood block. If you take a brand new block and you give it to someone who's never used it before and they stick it on there and burn a big flat spot in it, it's horrible. So I always try to say, let the gaffers burn in the tools, unless we, someday, Matt could be the ultimate
burner inner.
It's kind of a cool little thing to put there. Burner inner, there he is.
Burner inner.
So first thing we got to do, they shipped us these molds without the handles on there. So we need to put these handles on, and we want to make sure the screws don't go through into the mold area.
It would be horrible.
We want to be up top here, like so, but that's not going to work. And look, how's that work up top when you got a steel thing there? You know what I mean?
Probably just go right on top of it.
Like
just go right over it, yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't need to be perfectly flush either. I think on top of it, that's fine. The screw's going to go over that.
That one's working, so I'll hold it. Why don't you screw it in? Yep.
Do you want to take a look at it?
Nothing in there.
All right. Yep.
I don't even know if we need to put them all the way in.
Because we're taking them out, too, anyway.
That's good. That's a nice connection.
Beautiful.
There. Next side.
The trick we realized with these, we were thinking about, we can't just put them in one of our 5-gallon buckets here with water, because the handles, it won't fit. So what we're going to do is we decided we would just use one pair of handles, and we'll take them off when we're done using them during the day, and then put them in the buckets, their respective buckets.
That's pretty much going right into it. I'm going up higher like that. Yep.
She's sturdy.
Yep. Boom.
Boom,
boom, boom, boom. First thing we do is drop it in the water over here, guys.
Get her soaking. So you did notice here the way that they sent them. There's water dripping in there. He's already soaked these after he finished it, probably for a day or so. Then he, whatchamacalled it, plastic wrapped it like it was some kind of, you know what I'm saying, and then he wrapped it up in plastic even more so that there's a bunch of moisture inside of the piece. Very important, and now we're giving it even more moisture. And I actually just emptied out and refilled this with brand new water. That's like a 1 scale on the Merc level. Pretty darn good water. I've never even seen the bottom of that thing before.
So I'm going to blow the first one out, Jake, and show you the setup of what it looks like.
That sounds nice.
And I'll have you, the way it works, you guys listen on this too. The way it works is you're going to have this thing drain all the water off of it. Back that up a little.
Yep.
And you're going to be sitting right here.
Yep.
And you're going to be holding that like that.
It's looking good.
You're going to go, I'm going to be up there. Whoever's up there, you
Yeah.
open this up and let us drop the big piece in, and then you close it around the neck.
Yep.
Once it's closed around the neck, I start spinning, you or me starts blowing, and then when I feel like I want you to open it, you do the foot tap. Foot tap, boom, you open it up. I come out. Once I come out and I do whatever I'm going to do, you go in, put it in the water. You can let it soak in there for a minute.
Sounds
Because
perfect.
they're probably going to bring me a punny, and we'll go for the next one.
Yep.
So go ahead and
That
stick
sounds
stick
perfect.
that in the water for now.
This is just one more example. Even if you wanted to be that solo guy or that girl that wants to blow glass, even if you had a mold and you were trying to make it as easy as possible for yourself, it's pretty darn tough to pull that mold out with a hot gather, put it down there, flick it open with your foot, and crunch it and blow it. It's almost impossible. There are glass blowers that do that kind of thing. They might be a little bit awkward. I'm not dissing them. I can't think of anyone in general that I'm thinking about right now, but you definitely want a second person. You got to have a second person for all these things. It's very important, and especially when we're blowing it out and learning how this thing works, we need two of us to figure it out. Plus Uncle Dennis to show you all the process. Chris is going for recycle here. Deep, beautiful blue recycle glass. He took a big old gather. We're going to have to refill that tank real soon, but we're really yanking it as much as we can to the bottom, so we've got a beautiful variation.
A little bigger block.
A bigger block. We want a beautiful variation of blues for the Breath of Michigan. And we're getting it. Here you are.
That's pretty big. Nothing in between. It's like normal size.
How's this?
I mean, I almost can get it right in here, so I guess this is going to be good enough.
Looks like the same.
Yep. Get a nice even shape. We don't need that guy.
Are you gonna set up the neck before dropping it in?
You definitely need to set the neck up before dropping it in, guys.
Okay.
I just blew it out.
Look at the swirls and the action going on in that recycled glass.
Jay, could you get rid of this?
That's what we call the handoff. This is kind of exciting, folks.
I'm going to get this in a little bit more of a cylinder shape.
Yep. Beautiful Sunday, folks. I hope you all saw us on Channel 4 News on Thursday after the annealer reveal. We had a great time. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And hope you're enjoying something a little different than usual here. For all those new viewers out there, getting a little taste of something sweet.
I'm thinking this looks like about the right setup.
I would agree with that. With that sentiment.
Yep.
And you notice he's got holes drilled in here, probably about 15 holes. That's for steam release. Because this thing's about to be smoking and steaming like crazy, folks. It's prepared. The mold is prepared. Here we go.
Okay, close her up.
Oh, yeah. And you actually, depending on how strong your lungs are, you actually can blow back open the mold. I'm squeezing pretty hard right now. Oh, yeah, it's looking good. Smells great. Oh, baby.
So now you go in for a flash, you want to tighten up that neck.
Look at this. Would you look at this?
I kind of think I could have let it fall out a little bit more.
I think we could have had even a little more glass, too.
Because you're supposed to trim it. You know what I mean?
Well, he set it up for us to hot pop it.
Oh, yeah, so we're not punting it.
We can do it for the show for now, but we could also just, leave it the way we're supposed to leave it.
See where I'm looking for that neck where we're going to break it. That's what I'm talking about. If I would have pulled up a little bit higher, it would have been better. But this is still going to come off perfect for a hot
Yeah, sure
popping.
is.
The bottom looks great.
It's gorgeous. Look at that. And then we also, we're going to do these as rocks glass, thicker bottoms, but that's a super thin bottom. If we were to punny up on that, we'd be a little nervous. But the fact that we're not going to punny it up, we're going to knock it off and chop this top off, pop it off with heat and with
We're just going to neck it and lay it on its side in there.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to worry about the bottom being too thin. It's a really cool thing. I'm going to let him knock that off in here, and I'd like to do a little drawing demonstration, if you don't mind. Come take a gander at this. So when we just knocked it in there, this is the shape we got going on. That's not going to do. That's our cup right there. So what we're going to do when we go to hot pop it, we'll show you this if you're a VIP subscribed member. We'll do one of those Friday VIP behind the scenes posts for you, and we will show you this in action. For now, I'll just explain it on the board to you. But basically, we need to turn this into a cup. We need to chop it right there. This is how we're going to make sure if we make a line of these, and we've got 200 of them that we need to make within a 3-week period, we're going to know that we can choose the height on every single glass, no matter how much glass we had coming out of the mold, to the exact diameter or the exact height. So we'll pick our line here. We'll take a little scribing device. If you guys are doing stained glass, if you've ever cut flat glass before, it's something just like that. You guys could take that little scribe and put a little 1/4 inch little slash right here. Boop. Little slash on it. Then we've got this on one of those nice rotating platforms, and that's spinning super slow. You give it one good whoosh, and it's going. It's just moving like this. Then we take the hot torch. We take the MAP gas. Take the burner. Psst, hold it right here. Psst, just slowly bring it closer. Boom, until we're about halfway there. It's probably hardly even hot. And then all of a sudden you hear a tink. This thing doesn't even fall off, but you can see it happen. You see the crack straight across the glass, perfectly straight and perfectly beautiful. You pull off the top, that becomes recycled glass, and then we take the torch and we hold it right here as it's spinning, polish off the top, and you got a good glass. We'll re-anneal all those. We'll line them all up in an annealer, just like our raindrops that we finish elsewhere. We finish the loops with the torch. We'll put them back in the annealer, bring it up to 1,000 degrees, bring it slowly back down overnight. There's no stress in the glass at all, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's the idea, folks, and that's the way we're going to get a little bit better at mold blowing. We're going to have a beautiful, affordable option for all of our out-of-town customers at our new Beverage Counter. That is on the 1-year plan for the Glass Academy, and I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but we're doing it, and this is one step in the process to get this figured out.
You want to do one of these?
Going for another one? Why not? We're going for all of them?
Do another shape. All right, ready to go.
We could, yeah.
Make sure we
Drill the handles on there too and everything.
Get these bits out of there so we don't.
Those were, yeah, your mic's off, but those were on the other one too, and I figured they'd kind of burn out. I tried to pull some off, but they looked all right on yours.
All right, well, let's put a handle on this one.
Okay. Same handle or no?
You can try another one for now.
Okay. All right, going for 2. That's the tall boy. This is my favorite shape of the 4. I'm partial to. We got our tasting glass. Oh my goodness. We got our rocks glass, and that's a pretty clean rocks glass right there. Couple cubes in the bottom, thick base booty. What? And then you got your water glass, and then I love the tall boy. That's my kind of glass. Fill it up to ice right to there. Put the gin right about to there. Splash a tonic on top. Psh. Game over. Game over. You got it?
Nope, maybe a little bit more just to hold it in. Yep.
Beautiful. This is how you work in the kitchen, clean as you go.
All right. I'll try this one, and then what? Then you'll do two?
All right. So you can see the difference on
Recycle or
those two.
clear?
I would go clear. Yeah. But we are running low on that recycle. The beautiful deep blue is gorgeous, but when we teach classes tonight and tomorrow and through the... Actually, we're taking a break this weekend. We're closed Saturday and Sunday. So this is Sunday, actually.
And depending on the glass, I know one of them is a rocks glass. Would leave a lot of air in the bottom, a lot of glass on the bottom.
A lot of thickness.
This one, highball glass, a little thicker in the bottom this
little
time.
thickness, yeah. This is just nice, folks. This is just cool. I can't believe how nice that first one turned out in burning out the mold. I mean, geez.
Oh yeah, got the perfect block here. Woo. So you want a little bit of a thicker bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lengthen this out a little bit so it's longer.
Yeah.
So there's more glass. See how I'm drawing the massive glass off the end a little bit more. That way it'll be thinner up by the top where we're hot popping it.
And the other thing that makes a huge difference is watch the angle when he blows the bubble into this. He's not going to hold it straight up in the air and have it fall back and get squattier. He's got it completely level, if not hanging it down. It's getting even longer. So now he's got 50-50. There's 50% of the glass is on the bottom right now. That's nice. Oh, yeah. I think that's the perfect amount of glass. And again, we don't have to worry too much about the precision of the neckline up top or the thinner thickness of it.
All we want to do is just get it neck down round like this. Like
exactly.
Just like that.
So it can get in there.
That's the mold setup.
You want to puff it out a little longer than that? Yeah.
I think it's going to fall out pretty good when I go in the mold.
Is this the one?
Sure. And remember, you can tell me lift up a little bit on it if my neck needs to be lifted up.
I'll keep an eye on it.
And I'm making sure I'm not overheating the neck right now. I'm kind of heating the bottom, the thick part, so that it falls out like a hot dog, guys.
Just like a hot dog.
Like that shape, you know?
There's the hot dog. Yep. It's looking good. Stay down on it.
Okay. So you gotta...
That's pretty tall.
You got a smooth neck, but remember, we're hot popping it, so it's going to be the right size. I'm just getting a little bit... I just flashed... I don't want to lose the shape, but if I come out...
That would be a gorgeous
I can take the torch,
olive oil bottle right there.
and I can torch this just a little.
Yep. To give it the breaking spot.
Just enough that I get enough of a neck on there to break it off. See that?
Give him a round of applause, folks.
I think we need to indent that bottom a little.
Probably just like that. We're gonna see. It's experimental.
Yeah. And it's nice, we got that little air bubble that came off the neck's gonna be hot popped off.
Yes.
I'm kind of a little bit leery about laying them on their side, so what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna knock it off, then I'm gonna use the moil and see if I can just stand it straight up once I knock it off in there. Might work, you know?
Sure. I would say we just knock it off and take it with the grabbers.
Yeah, but then you got an option for breakage. It's an extra move. You hand this off to somebody, you know?
Yeah.
The mold guy takes it over there and gets rid of it. The next guy's gathering up his next piece.
Sure.
So all I need is a knocker. And let's see
The butter knife.
Let's see how it goes.
Right past our world record sign.
Stand it up perfect. Now going.
Impressive.
That worked. Bravo. I think that I don't know how that might work if we're loading them in there one after another, because you see how it's pushing back.
Well, we don't have to worry about them cracking because we're not like, it's not like we're stamping them or polishing them or anything. We just tap it off, grab them, put them
they're
away.
thick enough. You could lay them in and then lay a second row
On top of
and
them.
a third row and just lay them all in like that.
That's probably true too. We're gonna figure it out. It's the early stages of a beautiful situation, folks.
Yeah, that was great.
So, as much as I do and I will blow into those next two molds, we do have a meeting that I got to handle, and usually this is about experimental time, another 15 minutes or so.
Cutting it short, me.
So, I mean, it would be the same process with the next two, though, and we're going to get them dialed
I could
in.
always let you do your thing, and I could do a sphere and show them a sphere.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool for the sculpture project
For
I'm
the
doing.
memory piece, or is this a different piece?
One of those pieces. There's a sphere for Eric and Israel sculpture.
Have at
I'll
it.
just explain it to them, and they can see it happening, and then when I get done with one sphere, then I'll wrap it up.
Well, I'll let you do that, and I'll say to these guys two things, which is check out the Breath of Michigan end of July world record that we're doing. If you didn't see us on live Channel 4 on Thursday, then it could be somewhere else out there, but you can read all about it on the website, and you want to check it out, I promise you. And the second thing is thanks to our VIP supporters, people that pay $5 a month on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, support the arts here in Michigan, and they're going to be getting a video when we get to it on the hot popping scenario and how we get that dialed in. When we're confident with that, we want to show it to you guys. So those videos at random get posted on Fridays. They're sneak peeks into what's happening in the studio. If you guys aren't already a member supporting our streaming and supporting this kind of show, the experimental show, that's how you do it. So
Boom.
I'll leave it with that, and you're going to take it away.
I got it.
All right, we're going to go use our brains.
All right, first thing I got to do is just get rid of all the mold blowing hardware that's in my way, guys. Which all we need to do is really take care of this. You can wheel that away, Jake. Boy, I love this thing.
So nice.
I know. Chuck tried to get it back. Chuck had it made, and then like a couple months ago, he's like, "I want to get that back." I'm like, "What do you need it for?" It's beautiful.
Nice casters.
All right. So we got all this up. So what I'm doing for you guys who are watching, you guys know that I've got my own separate business that runs alongside the Glass Academy called Chris Nordine Studios, and I do a ton of sculpture work, custom installations, all kinds of crazy stuff, as well as Ashes and Art Glass, which is a memorial sculpture business where I encase cremated remains, animals or loved ones, humans, into a glass sculpture, and then we make sculptures out of those. It's a pretty cool process. Well, I'm doing these spheres for these two jobs my brothers are making. They're making two sculptures for the City of Detroit memorial sculptures for two police officers that lost their lives, and they're going to be great, cool pieces. And I'm doing 16 perfectly round spheres for both of those sculptures for them, and they need to be almost exactly the same size. So the way I do that, I've got 4 already out of this gorgeous deep lapis blue, which is like police department blue. The blues, that's what they call it. And then I've got a copper blue. There's going to be a series of them around the outside of 12 copper blue, really electric copper blue spheres with the 4 blue spheres, lapis blues in the middle. So I'm just trying to finish up this project for them. And making a sphere is a pretty cool process. I want to show you guys how it works. So first thing I'm going to do is gather the core gather, and then I'm going to add the copper blue on the inside. I'm making sure my mic's on, guys, and it is on, thank good. I've got the color picked out. I take one gather, coat it with the copper, then I'm going to gather over it and turn it into the perfectly round sphere. So I take a medium-sized counterweight punny, and I'm going to get a, and this is where there is no molds made on this either. You have to just know the amount of glass that you're gathering. So I'm gathering up a nice first gather of clear crystal, and that's what I'm going to coat with the copper blue. And I've already made like 5 of the 12. I know how much color. I'm doing 2 coats. 1 coat, then I go in and I melt it in just a little bit, and then I add another coat. And I actually leave a little bit of a texture on there so that I trap some air bubbles in the surface of the sphere so that it actually captures the light, because these are outdoor pieces. It captures the sunlight and reflects it even more and gives it that glowing quality to it. So I don't want to melt it in all the way. I just give it a little bit of a flash, and then I shape it up for my next gather. That's looking like a nice core gather right there. And right now, the blue looks green because the heat from the orange glass being hot make it look like it's a green, where it's really a beautiful electric blue. And the trick to this is to gather the glass up so that the core gather isn't so cold that it sucks all the heat out of the exterior gather. I want to gather that molten glass on there, and then by the time I sit down, that heat gathered out of the furnace actually absorbs into the core, and the whole piece becomes the same temperature. That's really important for beginning glass blowers to know how that works, because it works with a hollow piece and a solid piece. So that's about the right timing. I'm going to go in and get my gather. I'll be right back, Dennis. All right. Looking good. It's got crystal on the outside. Now, mind you, I'm trying to make it the same size as the ones that I've made already. I've got it basically in a kind of a sphere form, but now look, I use this piece of wood with holes drilled in it, and I just shape the piece into a round sphere, making sure I'm always moving that piece of wood around so that it doesn't just make it one inconsistent shape that's not perfectly round. I give it a little bit more heat. So you see I'm constantly moving this thing to make sure it's a gorgeous, perfectly round sphere and not an oval. Got my calipers to check the size, which is right there. Little heat on the neck, because you got to make sure that the neck is down small enough that when you knock it off and polish it, to hold them down? Yeah. Sure. Now, back in the day, 100 or so years ago, if not even a little longer than 100 years, this is how they made marbles. But they very quickly advanced to making more than one at a time. They automated it by having these troughs that they actually cut the marbles. A machine cuts the glass into this trough, and then it rolls down a certain pitched hill, and they roll into a ball and fall into the bucket. And then they're annealed in the bucket continually on a conveyor belt, which is pretty cool. I'm letting this piece sink down a little bit on that one side so that it stays nice and round. I'm going to give it one more heat, one more rounding out, then we're going to be in business. For those local folks, actually, oh, well, this is recorded, so it doesn't matter, but I was going to say we're having our closing show up in Ann Arbor tonight at the gallery. And if you want to ever check that out, check out the website, chrisnordinestudios.com. It's got all kinds of really amazing artwork in there, a lot of glass, of course. This is when you finesse it. And I'm telling you, now this one looks perfect. Got the calipers to make sure it's exactly 2 3/4 inches in diameter, which it is. But you see, a lot of that had to do with my eye in the gather of the glass. That's what's so important about doing this. It's not easy to gather the exact amount of glass every time. So I did, and that's cool, and I appreciate doing it because I've been doing glass for a long time, guys. But now I'm just letting it cool off enough so that I don't get any imperfections in the surface while I'm polishing out the end. So what you do with these pieces is you're wanting to use the torch to get the bulk of the punty mark out of there, and then after the piece comes out of the annealing oven, you take it and you polish it out at the polishing equipment in the cold shop. And that's where the real finishing touches come on, getting all the imperfections out of the surface of this punty mark and making it one beautifully symmetrical sphere. So this gets a little bit of that. Like if you were working in wax, you'd probably be doing the same thing, getting most of the shape done, but still just having to finesse it later. So I take a peek at it now. It still looks like it's got a little bit of action that I want to even out, so I make sure I torch it just right, and I come in here with the knife and I round this out. Then I come back in and take away that orange peel texture from it being chilled so quickly with the knife. All right, that looks like minimizes the amount of work, even though it's a boatload of work to get in there and cold work all this, but blow on it a little bit just to chill the surface. Then I grab it like so, and I go into the annealing oven. All right. It's a warm one in here today, folks. You see, I'm sweating it up pretty good. But that was nice. I like people seeing what's going on with some of that stuff, you know. I could actually take you over. Should I take them over and show them the shades or be done? All right. We can walk over there. It's fine. Yeah, come on over here. I'll show you guys another project that I'm working on before we get done and sign over and out. I've got these lampshades I'm doing for a restaurant, and we've got all of them blown. These were all, if we knew we were going to be doing more than 50 of these, if we were going to do 150, 200, I probably would have had a mold made, but I freehand did all these, so you can see them on the table over here. Well, maybe zoom from right there if you want. but it's hooked to the internet, so we should be okay, but I think it's all right. So check it out, guys. This is these are the shades. They're pretty thick, and they're really beautiful. I think these might be going in some type of a Landry's restaurant or something like that, but I'm working through a lighting company where I do a lot of shades for them, and there's 50 of them, and we could have had a mold blown, but I didn't blow the mold. But at this point, I'm drilling them all out, and they're going to be retrofitting them with fixtures so they're hanging in a big cluster in the middle of this restaurant. But it kind of just lets you in a little bit on all the different type of jobs that we're doing here at the Glass Academy. And it might not, it's through Chris Nordine Studios, which are more commercial projects, but I'm still the Glass Academy, so you're going to see how things, I'm in here. Jake's helping me out with these pieces. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff. But that's what we love about doing this is there's so many different options for custom work. Anybody out there wants something custom for your house, let us know. I love doing pendant lights. I love doing site-specific. You guys take a picture of a corner of your living room and say, I want some type of sculpture, and you send it to us, and we'll draw it up and brainstorm ideas with you and make something that's super cool. Custom work is what it's all about. So let's head back over here and we'll over and out it. Don't forget to check out the classes, like Jake said, for the Breath of Michigan, our world record achievement. We're going to be busting the world record and going crazy. It's going to be a great event. So I think we're probably getting ready to sign out. Over and out, everybody. Thanks for a great show, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.